And welcome back to Music Free Gaming. I hope you're having a fabulous day on this strangely Wednesday version of the stream. That's right. So, we're going to be back in Create Mod, or not Create Mod, back into going solo. Vanilla Minecraft. That's totally vanilla. Yes, we are not doing any of those weird flavors like, strawberry or something. Ugh. No, we're back in vanilla Minecraft on a Wednesday because, weird. But it's a thing. So, yeah, I had family in town yesterday, and that was great fun. But now they're gone, and I'm going to stream because I want to. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to be moving over into this thing. This is going to be my main base in this area, which is great and all. The way I'm going to set this up is that this floor, this whole floor here, this is going to be my storage room. Okay? I know, big storage area of storageness. Yes, that is exactly what's happening here. I'm going to have another layer on top of the reactor, the gas reactor, but that's going to happen sometime later. Sometime. I don't know when exactly, but not today. So here's the thing. I have no idea how I'm going to set this up. So that's why we're here today is, I'm going to start laying out some things where I want the storage to be. Now, there is one thing I do know for sure. The storage is going to be 2 chests, or it's going to be double chests, right? Right, something along these lines. I mean, there'll be double chests, not 2 single chests set next to each other, because that would be weird. Okay. There will be hoppers on the back, and there will be some form of storage automation on this mess. But that's coming when the Iron Golem shows up, okay? There's not going to be anything else that I'm going to have to worry about as far as redstone goes for that. Other than the fact that it's going to be on top of this here, okay? Now, I don't know quite how it all is going to work, but this area between here and a floor that I'm going to put out this way. So basically 5 blocks I'm going to have for redstone. Though I can also lean out behind the chests if I need to. Okay? I would rather not. I'd rather just feed hoppers down through the floor into the backs of those chests, but we'll see how that goes once I get there. Okay? So that's most of what I know right now. The other thing is that the chests are going to be set up in 7 segments, or 7 chest segments. Okay? Now, that's probably not where those are going to go, but that's sort of the idea. Okay? Now, I do actually have a lot of room, and the question is, how much open space do I want? And that's always a question, right? So, here's the thing, right? Have you ever built a storage room that just takes you way too long to get across? I've been there, right? I built this lovely storage room, oh, shoot, a while back. Going solo season 2 or something like that. And I had this nice big, fully automated storage room. I think I'd used Zuma's MIS system, right? The multi-item sorter. It worked. The sorter worked great. It just took a long time to get across the room. I'm going to be dealing with that somewhat because I'm going to have storage going all the way over to there, perhaps. But what I did my last hardcore series, I set up a hallway, and basically it was about 5 blocks between the chests on either side. And that was kind of nice because everything was right close, which was handy. Now, I've got a big area here, so what do I want to do with it, right? Now we're going to have some stuff here, and this is something like when I built my storage in Tinker World, I did the same thing. I had a fairly narrow hallway of storage, which was fairly nice. But given the way this is going to go, hey Snoopers, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a fabulous day over there on YouTube. But anyway, the way this is going to lay out, I could potentially do a couple of rows. I could just make it wider and just accept that it's large. Okay. And the reality is I have no clue what I want this to look like. So that's what we're here today to deal with. Okay. So I'm going to head back to my old storage room, which is convenient. I should just bring a bed over here too, which would also be convenient. But in fact, I think I've got beds. Let me go grab one. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay, Snoopers. I know I'm throwing everybody's calendar off because, I'm streaming on a Wednesday, but tis what it is. All right. But it was nice. I met my mother-in-law's new husband for the first time, so that was cool. Yeah, it's all sorts of confusing. Yeah, my mother-in-law got remarried a year or so back after her last husband died. And my wife's met him a couple of times, said he's really cool. I've never met him before. And turns out, yeah, he's pretty fun. We sat down and played a game. I don't know if you've ever played this. It's a card game called Fun Employed. It's actually like an improv game. The idea is everyone around the table is taking turns interviewing for a job. And the job you're interviewing for is somewhat random, but then you have cards that are your qualifications. And it's like, okay, I am interviewing for the job of altar boy. So what are my qualifications? I'm a pyromaniac, and I have, you just start going through this like, oh, I'm auditioning or I'm interviewing for the role of a butcher. And see, my qualifications are I'm a beefcake, and I have brownies, and I have an addictive personality, and I forgot what the fourth one was that I had for that round. But then you have to try to justify your qualifications. And then when you get through your cards, the interviewer drops a monkey wrench into it. It's like, okay, yes, but apparently you're really dirty. How do you... And so it's fun. So you go around the table after everyone has, quote unquote, interviewed for the job. Then the interviewer hires one of the people. And then you just go around the table. And the person who gets the most jobs wins. But it's really funny. It's really funny. If you got a bunch of people who are happy to sort of improv and stuff, it's all sorts of fun. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for a minute. Whatever else happens, this is going to stick out just a little bit. I think... So I built this out. This netherrack is going to go, but I think I am going to continue this way. So I'm going to have this sticking out. Let me fill this out here a little bit. Let's get some pale oak. But anyway, yeah, so if you've got some friends and stuff, or people who just like to be silly, Fun Employed is definitely one of those games that encourages silliness. You have an aversion to board and card games. Okay. You have fun once you get into it, but you have to be forced to play. I get that. I used to really like board games, and that interest has faded in my life. And I'm not entirely sure why, but I'm just not nearly as into them as I used to be. But fun employed is fun because it's not. Sure, obviously you're keeping score because of, you know, the whoever's getting all of the jobs and things like that, right? But that game is just more fun because of who the heck is doing what and where and when and all of that stuff. So, all right. So I think the plan is going to be that's going to go there. I think this will come out. I have to figure out how I'm going to honestly connect my base to the portal here. But yeah, maybe it's fine. All right, and then let me go see if I have some white concrete. I might not. I might have used up the last of it when I was working on the floor. Oh, I do have some. Wonderful. But yeah, anyway, so, you know, I didn't sit and play when they were doing, you know, playing some other games on Monday, but Tuesday I sat down and played Fun Employed, and that was great. But you know, you ever notice how blue white concrete is? I didn't until I set it next to the pale oak, which has a little bit of a pink tinge to it. You know, I have sneaky pants. Let's just run this way with our sneaky pants. All right. Okay, so if I do this way, now there is going to have to be some room between where the chests are and where things are sticking out because of the way the redstone is going to have to work for the copper golem. Okay, they don't require a lot of redstone, but it's going to take 5 or 6 blocks out, whichever direction they end up going. And I honestly don't know. This is maybe part of what I have to decide. I don't know if I'm going to have chests coming all the way across here or not. You get competitive and not in a fun way. That's fair. That is one of the nice things about Fun Employed. Is not quite as competitive. Also, great games for that are like Forbidden Desert or Pandemic. Games that are cooperative. So either everybody wins or everybody loses, but you're not playing against each other. And so they're a little bit more of a puzzle type game. Those are really fun too. Castle Panic is another one. Once you get out of the old school board games like Monopoly and get into some really fun games, yeah, that's when things get interesting. All right, so here's one of the things I was considering, okay? I'm going to be having another gate, similar to what I have over there, on this side here. And it's going to be... Well, it's going to do a couple things for me, okay? You know, I know that lines up, but it doesn't feel like it lines up. Anyway, so the plan is I'm going to bring a couple of bubble columns up this way. One is going to come from the iron farm. And the other one is going to be it's going to be for people, right? But mostly it's going to be for minecarts, so I can get villagers. Yeah, so I can get villagers up onto the next level, because I'm going to pump them in through the nether, just like I did into the iron farm. That's going to be a thing that happens. And then this ugly looking thing is going to go away. But... all right, so we'll deal with that. But with that happening over there, I don't know if I want to put another gateway here. Maybe not, because of where that one is. But what I might do, and this actually would make a little bit of sense, would be to put the drop-off area over here. Right? Like, because at some point I have to be able to throw things into the storage system. So it might be good. Sorry, I'm letting myself get distracted. Let's finish the thought, and then I'll explain my next thought. So what I could do is set up the drop-off system here. So I unload all of my inventory into something. Water streams, I think. It'll get pushed up, up here above this brown terracotta and fed into the storage system, which means I would have bulk storage over here. And then it would swing around and then loop around and just get all loopy. Because, if my storage system isn't loopy, it just wouldn't fit in with what's happening here on the stream. Loopiness is totally a thing that happens here from time to time. So that might be a thing. Okay, so here's the thought that distracted me from my other thought. Okay. What I could do is I could, in this area right here, perhaps, I could put in a smelter, right? I've got a little bit of a smelter array over there. Of course, I've got the big array back in the ancient city, all of that stuff. But what if I were to set up a little smelter here, right? That's something that could happen over here. Okay, right? Definitely a possibility. Now, the one thing that could be interesting here. Okay, I actually can sleep here. Great. Okay. So yeah, if I were to set up a little smelter array here, that could be fun. I could even put, because I've got room. I've got the room above it that I could set up some bamboo. Some bamboo to feed it. It might be good. It wouldn't be as large as the one I've got in the city, but would certainly be convenient. Not that I've been doing a lot of smelting, but, it would be there. Okay, so that's an interesting possibility. So if I do that, hang on, I need to get some signs. Plus, I need to get walls up, so I forced myself to have fun. Because I enjoy jumping over the happy guests. Oh, speaking of which, remember the other day? It was like, last week or something like that. I got stuck in a happy ghast. I just couldn't get out of it. I was watching Pearlescent Moon play basketball on the Hermitcraft server today. And the same thing happened to her. I don't know how she got out of it. I ended up having to be in a meeting when I saw it happen. And so I'm going to have to go back and hunt down her VOD and figure out how she got out of it. But she went through the whole log out dance a couple of times. And I think what she might have done is logged out, had somebody load the area so the gas moved. And so when she logged back in, the gas was no longer there for her to be trapped. It was really funky. Okay, anyway, so let's put down a sign that's going to be hard to see, I suppose. All right, so let's say we put a smelter here. All right, now we've got this area. I'm kind of curious. What if we were to pull off something along these lines? Okay. Hey, how's it going there, Moose? Welcome in, welcome in. We're having a fabulous day over there on Twitch. Yeah, so if I put the smelter in this way, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm trying to figure out how my storage is going to work here in my base. Okay. But if I do something along these lines, or maybe, I don't know if I want that wall there. We'll figure the interior out first. Let's just figure the rest of this. Because, yeah, this could work. Because I could unload stuff into the smelter over here. I could have it swing this way. I could even have it pump into the storage system. That would be nice. Life is okay. Life is going okay. At least I've dealt with weirder parts of life, and this has been mostly okay. I like this idea. Okay, so if we have the smelter, and then said it would just, I could either have it dump into an output chest or up there. Yeah. A little tired and hidden personality. Yep, that's it. Okay. So, I like that. Okay. Actually, that would be really convenient. Have a switch to either dump into an output chest or something, or dump into the storage. Okay, cool. And then if I come over here, and I could actually put it somewhere within these pillars, which could move. They don't have to be there. It's my recent secret that I have revealed. That I have no clue what I'm doing. There you go. There's a secret. Oh, wait. Maybe not. Okay. Yeah. So if I then do... I could actually set up the drop-offs around here, which would then feed up that way. I mean, I could put them over here, too, but... I don't know. One of those, and then actually start the actual storage over here. That could be interesting. Hey, Juliet! How's it going? Over there on the YouTubes. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I like this idea. Where did I put that wall? I know. I left it over here somewhere. Yeah, I do like the idea of maybe dropping this in here. Yeah, that's the way of hiding my words. I was in politics once. You're fine. Awesome. Awesome. So if I were to bring something along here somewhere, okay, let's say we'll line it up with this, okay? No, nothing for certain, just that seems like a place to set up our storage. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm setting this up in 7 chest segments. Is the dreams? I assume that meant stream. It could be struggling. I don't know. Is the stream struggling? Is it full of sadness? Are we full of sad stream? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it might just be you. According to what I'm seeing, it seems to be okay. Anyway. Is my hidden Russian. It turns out you must have a hidden Russian stashed in a little drawer to help you get things done. Whenever I have problem, I pull out hidden Russian. And hidden Russian says you will do the thing and solve the problem, or you will have to deal with more hidden Russian. It's sad, but it is the way we go. Anyway, that's just a me. Yeah, so Juliet, what's the game name? This is Minecraft. Okay, so anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So the idea, as I said, we're gonna have these in 7 block segments, but yeah, otherwise it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine, right? But what I might do is actually set them up sort of 9 block segments, kind of like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now I could turn a corner here. Right, go this way. 1, 2. Oops, that's just silliness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I like Minecraft? Yes. Yes, I do. It's my favorite game. Now, there is a part of me that is just going to hate the fact that this doesn't line up. Okay, so We're going to solve this problem right now because otherwise I'm just going to be... I'm just going to be annoyed. All right, so that would go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that would go there. If I were to push all of this down this way a block, all right, that might be reasonable. Okay, so that goes out that way. This comes out and goes there. Okay. All right, that would go there. Now, long term, said I'm going to be driving the storage using the copper golem, but obviously the golem doesn't exist in reality yet. All right, that's a thing. All right, so I could do something along those lines. Okay. What will I do if I want to play with other people, and how will I do it? Well, there are other people who play on this server. This is it's a private SMP for a handful of awesome people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that goes there. And then if we angle across this way, I should be able to run storage in this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And yeah, if we're just skip ahead like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Right, now that could work. And then this ends up being my main storage here, perhaps? Huh. You don't know how to play with other people? Yeah, it's well, it involves joining a server. There are a number of public ones out there. I sort of avoid the public ones myself. They can get a little scary, but this is actually an interesting idea here. Another option. Okay, I'm really digging this, okay? Actually, I'm really liking this. Now, I may adjust where this wall is, for example, but the layout of where the chests are is really cool. Okay. Right, and then it said these will climb out this way, and there'll be hoppers on the back, something like that. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be our first round. Now, the way I'm going to be sorting this, it's going to be a multi-item sorter, but I think it's mostly going to be like oak in this one, birch in this one, right? We'll do that. I almost always end up putting diorite, andesite, and granite in the same system because I don't tend to have a lot of that. So I may do that in one slice and some stone. I'll figure that out when the time comes. Okay, but we'll set up basically this idea for this room. All right, now the problem is if I do this, like I do want to have bulk storage. It would be nice if the bulk storage hit before this did. Yeah, because unfortunately, as fun as the copper golems are, they are really freaking slow. Holy mackerel, are they slow. Now, for the most part, I'm not going to care. But if I'm going to be dropping 8 stacks of stone, I'd like to just whoosh those right through the bulk storage first. So here's a thought. Since I'm going to be doing water streams, this doesn't have to be a smelter, for example. This could be not smelter. What I could do is if I were to come out this way somewhere, okay? Now again, this is going to be here. We're going to have hoppers coming out of the back of this. In fact, let's grab an ender chest. Okay. If you want to play with other people, the game will tell me to sign in for free. Yes. Can I teach you? No. I would suggest reading Minecraft's documentation, but you have to buy the game. But connecting to a server tends to be free. Okay. All right, so we would do something along these lines. All right, so I'm just blocking a bunch of stuff off here. Like so. That's not going to be there. All right, so if I were to come out, let's say I were to come out this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't have to be 7, but why not be 7? And now, I don't know how much space I'm going to need for bulk. Actually, let's actually go ahead and keep those hoppers out so that I can do the thing. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, because then if I were to do something along these lines now. These are going to be a little bit messier because these are going to be impulse SV sorters. But most of those are going to be up top there. And then it's just going to pump down this way. I'm adequate at Minecraft. However, if you want to, Minecraft has some documentation on their website on how to do it. Also, Google's a thing. All right, so if we were to lay this out kind of like so. Again, these pillars don't have to be here. They can move, they can go away, I can do whatever. Yep. Getting someone to stop their stream and do tech support is never going to be helpful. But if you go into the Minecraft Discord, somebody there might be willing to take time. All right, so I could shift this out. I can move it in, but I like this basic idea. So it's going to be a matter of what this redstone actually looks like. But I do kind of like this idea yeah, I like this idea of running the storage out kind of like this. Now, each of these segments here, each chest representing a segment, that's going to be one thing. So it's just going to be stone, or it's just going to be cobblestone or dirt or whatever. So all that stuff you end up with lots of. Or at least theoretically you end up with lots of. So there's my Discord server, Juliet, but said the Minecraft website, I think, has a link to the official Minecraft Discord server where there are lots of people and potentially people looking for people who might want to join servers. Okay, so that goes. So if I do bulk storage, basically, and I may push this out this way a little bit, that would make a little bit of sense, but I am thinking that I want to put the outer wall of this base right here. Not on top of the pale oak, but right above it, like right at, okay, we'll use a little concrete, or terracotta. But basically there, it's not going to be terracotta, or at least not going to be the green terracotta. But I do kind of like the idea of actually having this come out and connecting to some sort of window. I think that would be really cool. In fact, if I were to do that, what if I were to bring this storage out this way? I like this idea. So we're going to come out another 2 blocks. I like it. I like it. 1, 2. All right. Axes, please. Okay. So something along these lines then. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be a thing that will quite possibly be helpful. That's the theory anyway. But I think this is going to work out okay. So I could take it out 1 more block potentially. But let's just plan on this for now. Lurking and making dinner. That's fair. We went totally crazy with dinner. Got all fancy stuff. We had pizza rolls. It was that kind of day. All right, but if I'm going to do bulk storage here, regular sorted items, I'm really liking how this is starting to turn out. Even just with this laid out, I'm beginning to get a feel for this space, and I'm really liking it. If I do that, then over here, I wouldn't want to do a smelter. I'd want to do the item drop-off over here somewhere. Okay. I don't know where exactly, but somewhere. So looks like I've got wall coming this way. Okay. Right, just because I kind of want the walls to sort of kind of line up. I'm on a very modern build, or at least that's the idea. So modern builds tend to have some symmetry and all of that good stuff, right? So if I have a wall come something like this, okay? Now maybe I'll have an angle here just so it's easier to trigger the creaking. Because I know what words are and I remember what those things are called. Right, so I could do something like that. But yeah, if I were to put the unloading systems over here, right? Okay, so this would come out this way. There'd be hopper on the back. Okay. But if I were to have come back over here somewhere, I'm not entirely sure where, but somewhere, where I can have an unloading system with a shulker unloader, that actually would be really cool. All right, so somewhere over here. Okay, so this will be here, we'll do it up at the top. Storage, unload, and okay, with shulker unloader as well. Okay, so basically I throw a bunch of stuff in here. If it detects a shulker box, it pulls that aside, drains the shulker box, and that's awesome. Everything else that's not a shulker box gets dumped into the storage, fed across bulk storage, which is what this is. Okay, bilk? No, not so much. I have no idea what that was even going to be. So that's bulk storage. This is bulk storage. Again, I have no idea how I'm going to sort this, but it is what it is. Now, it'll only be maybe, I think it's only going to be like 4 blocks tall, the storage here, because of where the ceiling is. Right, so if I come in here, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I can't have a solid block over the chest, otherwise I can't open the chest. But we can come up this high. And then I think, right, if I were to, let's bring a wall down like this. Okay, something along these lines. Okay. And then I can put, excuse me, I can put maybe pale oak stairs or some other form of stair, probably, across the top with the back facing out this way. And then I can put labels on those stairs, whether they're signs or something else. That might work. I like that idea. That idea can be fun. Okay. Cool. So then we can come out and then set out here. I can just have a big window, because it would be kind of nice to be able to come out and look out and see the gassed bridge, for example. Right? That would be really cool. Because honestly, the gassed bridge is really cool. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I'm liking this idea. Okay, so that would be bulk. And then in here, given that with a copper golem, you can actually sort basically an entire chest's worth of individual items. You want to leave 2 or 3 spaces blank, but even if you just do 5 rows times 9, which is a big number, I don't know, what is it, 45 different items per slice? And said even if you, and you could even pull in a few, like 50 items if you wanted to. That's a lot of different items. So we're definitely going to have space here. Kind of like that. And then, so this would then send out, so then have some sort of wall kind of sort of this way, which would be the entrance hall. Okay, so we'd have something going basically like this. And I'm going to put in another creaking door, like that one. I'm going to put another one of those over here. So that, you know, you come up the bubble vader, or if something comes up the bubble vader, well, they can't get in. On the other hand, oh, that's actually an interesting thought. Hang on. So, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. As happens a lot, I very often get ahead of my own ideas. This elevator, the bubble vader I mentioned before, that's going to come up from right there. I think I'll sort of be continuing whatever's happening down to the iron farm. Right, this is all going to come up this way. I don't want it to let out at my storage. I want it out. You know, I also want to smash my face on things because that's fun. No, I want it to go up to the villager level because that's what's going to be going up there is villagers. Which means if I wanted to, this side could be, this could be more, right? I could set up more storage here. I'm kind of liking the idea of throwing a smelter in here, though. And then I've got some space so I could either do a smelter. I've got this whole area right here, which honestly would not be a bad place for a smelter. Or, ooh, how about a bamboo factory? Right. One of the things that I really like about having bamboo and crafters is it takes a number of steps, but you can take bamboo, shove it through a whole series of crafters, and end up with chests and barrels and trapdoors, right? And just let that happen. And honestly, it's really handy just to be able to come up. I love that with Create Mod. I had that so much fun with create, being able to just come up and say, I need a stack of chests, please. Or a stack of barrels, which are even harder to craft. That's an idea too. All right, we're thinking. We're thinking. All right, and then this would come out and around, obviously, that way. And I said, I've got this right now as the terracotta. This actually will not be green terracotta. I don't know what it will be, but it won't be green terracotta. It's going to be something else. It's going to be whatever the exterior of this base is. Okay, but whatever it is. So yeah, we'll come out, fill out this way. All right. The other thing I might do. All right, so we're talking about planning right now. So I've got everything here is in flux. Okay. There is a lot of fluxing happening here. But what we could do... is... So I'm going to have a couple of small farms on what will be probably the third level of this build. Okay. Amongst those farms are going to be a honey farm. Or, well, honey, but also silliness. Yes, it's going to be silliness in the farm. Honeycomb, because I'm going to need to be able to wax copper. Particularly my copper golems are going to need to get waxed. So I could have the output of those farms end up down here. That could be fun. Just do some farm output around here. So for example, I could have, I dump off stuff there. It goes flying around through all the stuff, right? Here's my bulk storage. Here's my, item sorted, categorized storage. And then I could have farm storage out this way. So I could come in and I could have, here's the output of the iron farm, right? That would be handy, especially if the iron farm had a quick access up to the villagers, that are the various smiths, the armorers and the weaponsmiths and the toolsmiths and stuff. When do the copper doohickeys come out? They haven't announced for sure, but I'm guessing it'll be out with either just before or right around the time of Minecraft Live, which is going to be probably the end of September. Okay, so about a month. So we've got some time. I'm definitely going to need to get at least get enough honey to wax my golems when they show up. But I plan on using a lot of copper in various places here. Like where that iron is, I might swap that iron out for copper bars instead of iron bars. I'm not entirely sure, because actually I kind of like what the iron is doing, but the extra contrast against the pale oak I think would look really cool. Okay. Alright, so if we do something like that. Alright, so the unloader would be over here. Okay. And shulker unloaders, they're not hard, they're a little bulky, but that's not going to be a big deal. And I think what I want to do, I think I'm going to use a minecart unloader. Right, so to throw things into the storage, I'll throw a bunch of stuff into a minecart with chest, have that run and do a Destructomatic style thing where you break the minecart and all of its contents go into a water stream that then get sorted into something else. Might do something along those lines. In fact, if I do it that way and then manually put the shulkers into an unloader, yeah, that might make some more sense. Okay, that's something to think about. I'll have to think about that as I go through. But if I have a honey farm and an iron, right, because I've got the iron farm now. I don't have a gunpowder farm. Sadly, I talked about that in the supporter newsletter. But I done screwed up and my gunpowder farm was useless. So I filled it back in and we'll be building another one later. But for now, it's, I think the gunpowder farm is going into that mountain. We'll see. We shall definitely see. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when I have free time, you know? Well, I had Friday afternoon off because I'd worked late on Thursday. So I went and said, no, I'll finish building the creeper farm, you know, because I wanted to play some Minecraft. Yeah, turns out. It's like, why am I not getting anything here? And so I started watching it with free cam and watched the creepers fall out of the farm just like they were supposed to. And they hit the edge of the despawn sphere. And in fact, they despawned. It's like, yeah, I was sad. I was like, you know, this wasn't great. So that was 3 or 4 hours of work wasted. But can I change my AFK spot? I could have, but that would have caused a bunch of other issues. So the reason I had it, so yes. So the short answer is I could have put my AFK spot, if I had it down on the floor, down on the valley floor down there, it would have worked. But the whole point of building it where I did was that it would function while I'm up here. Is that I wanted it to be really passive. So unlike the ink farm, right, where I have to go stand on some glass. In fact, if I come over here, you can see the glass, the AFK spot for it right there. I wanted the gunpowder to just happen. Hey, Rosemary, how's it going? Hope you're doing all right over there on Kick. Yeah, so I just wanted it to just passively generate gunpowder while I was up, you know, messing around in my base. Unfortunately, that's just not gonna happen like that. So, yep, I'm doing okay, Rosemary. Doing okay. So yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'll build the gunpowder farm up in this mountain because there's plenty of space up here, I think. And this is a fairly good size hill, so there will be plenty of room to actually have the creeper spawn areas and just make that happen. So, you know, it'll be a thing. We'll figure it out. Rosemary, you're welcome to ask anything you'd like, provided it's within the server rules. But which includes, I don't need your suggestions for my channel. So we'll go with that. All right. But I do like the idea of maybe having, and I may not do anything with it right now. Do a little creeper farm that uses the kitties. Yeah. The cat-based farms work okay too. And I may resort to that. I was toying with a number of ideas, and as I said, having this farm, you know, that was powered by the creeper by the iron, or the zombie in the minecart that was going around was clever. I was also thinking of tying it into, you know, another flushing farm with something else. You know, I could go with that, but I don't know. It's gonna be a little funky, I'm sure. So we'll see. But I do like the idea of maybe just going really old school. That's not a bad idea, Snoopers, and just doing cats. All right. In any case, so if I'm bringing storage this way, or at least the wall this way. Okay, so I could put farm output over here. And actually, this would be good if I do farm output here that doesn't tie into the storage system. That might be really handy. Okay, so, but I like this idea. Okay, because then what I could do, like I said, I could just pump all of the stuff up from the iron farm, whoosh it right in over here, and it can go right into the dealy bob here. And in fact, if I got really clever, I could take the output from the gunpowder farm. Right, the creepers will die. I'll get the gunpowder. I could tie it right into the same output over here, potentially. That's a thought. That actually is a really interesting thought. All right. Because then I could just have all of it pump into the water over here. Right up the water column, right into this area. And because it's all bulk, it should be okay. I like it. All right. So where did this storage come out here? From this glass. Okay, that glass is sort of the edge. Okay. So this storage actually, oops, hang on. I must free cam. Okay. So this came out this way. Okay. I'm going to break my sign, but that's not unusual. It's not unusual to place things wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Ha ha ho ho hee hee. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. Okay, so I could have it pop up like that. Though you know what? Actually, let's not. I don't have to be quite that symmetrical with it. What if I were to come this way? Actually, I might have to bring it out over here. All right, so if I have hoppers going here, right, something like that. Let me go get a couple of temp blocks. And let's see what we can do. Because basically what I want to do is I want to just lay out just the shape of an item filter. Just so I know I've got room. Though I will have room above, since that's where it's going to be. So I'm giving myself a redstone gap. Stone. Let's grab some smooth stone. But this, I think this is going to work. I think we're going to have some room. It's just going to be a matter of making sure all of the water flows where I want it to go. All right, so the output would be, okay, it would be up here somewhere, right? Or the hoppers would be up here somewhere. You know, just up there. Comparator, redstone, 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 repeater, redstone torch. So this much room is what I would need. And as I said, it could go up on top, or it will go on top of this terracotta. So I actually could swing this back this way a little bit, because this isn't particularly large. I just have to be sure I've got room to run the water over the filters. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have all sorts of room here. So, okay. All right. I like this. I think I can make this work. So as long as I don't stick out this way too far. Said it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's basically 4 blocks behind it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so as long as I'm not coming beyond this row with the actual chests and stuff, that should be really good. It's just going to be a matter of dealing with things like, oh, turning a corner. Right, so I could put these chests. Right, I could put the chest for the iron farm here, for example. Okay. And, heck, come out this way quite a bit. Right, and then, as I said, I'd have some sort of exterior wall here. Actually, the exterior wall would be out even a couple of blocks. Okay, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, that's going to be a bunch, but who cares? Yeah. Okay. All right. Because, yeah, 2 blocks. Yeah, so that's going to be the outside. All right, that's nice, right? So if I grab a couple of blocks of concrete here. Right, all of this netherrack will get replaced by pale oak. Ooh. I like it. So yeah, this would pop up here, and then I'm going to need room for the water stream to turn, but I think that's going to be okay. So if I stop this here, or maybe even one more, like I could go to there perhaps. I'll have to see where that goes. But I like the idea. Am I using shaders? I am not. I am shader free. Now the latest update, or at least with 1.20, whatever we're at now. Where are we at? 1.21.7. It adds a lot of extra fog. So maybe that's what you're seeing? So I don't know. I'm not sure what you're seeing. I have shader packs. I just don't have any actual shaders turned on. Because I don't think I have any shaders. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm seeing. You're seeing shadows around the ground near the green terracotta. Yeah. There are some, you're right, there is a little bit of shadow happening there. I don't know. That's just regular light. They have been making some changes for vibrant visuals, though I'm not sure how many of them have made it into this version yet. But yeah, I think it is just regular lighting. But it could just be showing up in particular around these pillars, around the concrete there. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, but I like this. So I could do something along these lines. Though, I don't know. Maybe I would. Let's see. So this is out this way, but it's out this way in part, so I've got room for all of the sorting systems for this nonsense. Okay. So, okay. So if I pop up that way, and then we sort out here, like I said, I can give myself a little elevator of sorts, whoosh up to the second floor up here, and I could put the an elevator or even a drop, bubble vader ladder or something up into where the all the smiths are. That would be really handy, because then I could just come in, grab what I need. Sorry. Decided to reposition, and my leg got caught on my desk in like 3 different ways. But yeah, then I could just pick up, I need, iron blocks, go up there, trade with the villagers, drop back down. That's an idea. Okay. I am going to need elevators up to the villagers anyway. So I might put those in this area. Okay, I like this. I kind of like this. I'm also thinking that I might actually bring these chests out 1 block more. I'll give myself a little bit of extra space inside, at least up there, for the bubble vaders and redstone and stuff. I've got. Okay, so do you have this problem? I have this problem. Do you have a problem with negative space in your builds? Like, I have a hard time. Like, if I've got a space that's just empty, just blocking off. Oh, look, here's this big empty space in my build. I'll just wall it off, and it's just going to be empty. That bugs the heck out of me. I don't know. Does it bother you? I don't know. It's so weird to me. And I've tried to fight that. It's like, no, build it so it looks, but dang, it just gets to me. You love those empty spaces? Yeah, right? It's just so. You like to build a hidden base in those places. That's fair. So, yeah, I could. Still, I could bring these chests out this way. But there is something to be said for giving myself a little extra room for farm output and stuff over here, too. So, because what I do want to do is on the 3rd floor, what's it? A few Tinker servers backyard, hidden bases all over the place. Okay, nice. Guess I will have to be keeping an eye open for that. I don't have walls, though, because I build my bases from the inside out. So, But yeah, I like the idea of having the farms up there, dropping their stuff down into this area, and just have it sort right through all of this. I think that's going to be good. Now, so yeah, so if we do iron output here, and I could run iron output, say to, I could run it down 2 sides, for example. Well, that makes 0 sense. I'm just going to break it and put it back. Right, I could punch a hole through here, have all of the iron output go this way. It's unlikely I'll fill this up, but I now have a fairly powerful iron farm over here, right? And if I'm going to be here, it's going to be working. It's definitely kicking out iron. Now I'm curious. Let's go see how well the iron farm's doing. Woohoo! And down we go. All right, this way. Yeah, this happens once in a while too. I think it's a loading issue. Hang on. Where's the chunk borders? Okay, no, this is all within a chunk. Weird. That is so weird. Huh. Yeah, I get this once in a while, is that it just dumps out nuggets. But I do have many stacks of iron here, so, you know. I don't know. I guess it's could be an issue with how I set up my clock, I guess. But I don't know. Whatever it is, I've obviously screwed up something, but it works. Anyway, I've got lots of iron here, so having all of that pumped up into my base is going to be cool. Wow. I am so good at this walking thing. I wonder, do I have... That might have been it, Snoopers. I had the gamma override on. Ask about the weird lights and stuff. That might have been it. Oh. Alright. Okay. Yeah. That might have done it. Okay, yeah, see the shadows, it is the regular lighting. But I mean, you are getting that around the pillars. But that's why, is it's really unnatural light everywhere else. Okay, so that would make some sense. Anyway, so I could try to do it like so. Oh, stream joke. Why can't a bicycle stand on its own? It's too tired. Okay, yeah, no, I'm totally down. Oh, I totally get it. No, I don't think I want to do it this way. No, I've actually managed to get sleep the last couple of nights. Of course, it helps when I go to bed before 9 o'clock. All right, so that'll go this way. But an Impulse SV filter is 4 blocks wide. On the other hand, the rest of these farms aren't going to be that productive. Maybe the gunpowder farm. That might be productive. But everything else... I'm not building large farms, so I might be able to use copper golems to deal with the output of those. That's an interesting thought. Okay, so the reason why I'm thinking about it is, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each, for a bulk sorting system, you're dealing with a 4 block wide filter, and then you have to do it twice, right, if you're doing them back to back. That eats up a lot of space. But if I whoosh the items up, right, they're going to come up over here into the water stream, across here, and then around to do other things. I could do the rest of this output in a couple of smaller segments. Like, okay, so this is the iron output. Let's say this wall, let's say it goes here. Doesn't have to go there, but let's say it goes there. Okay. I could then come in with, I don't know, what I want to do, like another like 7 segments, kind of like I've got over there, where I come in 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Or I could do these in smaller chunks, right? I could do gunpowder and it comes into 3 of them, for example. And I could then do honey that comes into another 3 of them. Right? That's a possibility. Right? So instead of doing like these are in chunks of 7, and there's some technical reasons for that. But what I could do is I could kick this out here. Say that goes away. And I could, did I put those in line? I did put those in line. Okay. So if I do this, okay, if I put another wall there, and then I could do it like that. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Right, so I could have gunpowder come out here, and honey could come out here, and then we take a little gap. Okay, and then we come out this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That again, it may not be 7, but we could pop up that way. That would make all sorts of sense. And then I could set my chunk loader, or my my storage unloader, and my shulker unloader over here, which of course feeds into the sorted stuff. This is farm output. And then I could have room right here, right? And I'm out of chests. Let's see. I absolutely can craft up more chests. Let's get some spruce. I did take a little bit of time the other day too, and just farmed a little bit of spruce and pale oak. But the spruce is here in particular because I want to use it for chests. I could have used jungle trees for it too. That would have been okay. But we're going to use it for chests. Now, like I said, I was talking about doing some small... Woohoo! Okay, you got to actually make the jump, turns out. If you're going to jump across Ghast Bridge, you actually have to jump off the ghasts, okay? It's weird, but true. So I could come in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, because this popped up like that. Let's see where this lines up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I pop up this way, I don't like this. Okay? I don't like that at all. Because it makes this door look weird. Okay, but I could come down this way. Right, and then just have this open area that's just open, which is fine, right? You come out through here. There's farm output. There's the drop off, and then there's the main storage system in here. And if I were to come in here, I like this idea of putting, some form of elevator going up and down on one or both sides. Be okay. I could even try to do a gassed camelvator, which could be its own special breed of weird. Might be fun to do regardless, but you know. Yeah, but then if I were to block this off, I could leave a window, right, looking out here. And I'm just going to be breaking symmetry everywhere, okay? I talked about this is going to be a modern build. Modern builds deal with a lot of symmetry. I'm breaking lots of that, right? Because I like the idea maybe of having a big picture window that looks out at that mountain, right? I like having a window over here, right, where I can look out and, you know, and see the gas bridge, right? I'm not a lot of it potentially, but like if I'm standing over here, right, just be able to look out and, oh look, the gas bridge. That would be cool, right? I like that idea. Okay, and so, yeah, I like this. So all of this would get iron or get copper golem sorted because it's smaller farms that are slower, and that is okay. I like it. Except for this big honkin' farm right here. Okay, which would be the output of the iron farm. Okay, and then it's just a question of, do I want chests like this? Because I could put a double door here and come in. It would maybe feel a little bit claustrophobic. Because these would be coming up this way, right? Okay, so we'd have all of this output. Come on, you can do it. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, 4, right? So it'd be coming up this high. All right. And yes, there would probably be a manual door here of some sort or other, but would this be too claustrophobic of an area? Hang on, let me sleep because it's dark. I mean, I could turn the gamma override back on, but you know, that would be cheating, right? We'll just forget that I had it on for the last. So yeah, it's a little bit tight, but I don't know. I don't know that I mind actually, because it's not going to be a place I'm going to be in very often, right? We'll have doors because doors are cool. Right, so I can just pop through the doors. I can get my iron, and then the rest of the output goes that way. Okay, towards towards that stuff, and then what I could do. We'll see how this kind of works out. Oh, no, lay down, snoopers. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Pain sucks. I've been dealing with that. My arthritis has been flaring up, so I totally understand pain issues. So go get some rest, man. Take care of yourself. But yeah, I could take, I could throw output. Let's say I did. I wonder if that's what you have. Yeah, it's arthritis. It's an inflammation of your joints. So I tend to get it like in my left elbow. I get it when pressure changes, like when the air pressure changes. I'll often get a pain in my elbow, and then I've got arthritis in my left thumb, like this joint here, which really sucks. And I have gout, which is an arthritis type thing in my foot. which sucks. But yeah, you'll feel it. It said it's in the joint, and it just hurts. It said it's an inflammation, so in my case, it almost feels like it not quite burns, but it's really painful. If I just soak it in ice water for about 10 minutes, that helps a lot. Okay. But yeah, I could, if I were to bring this way, maybe not that far. And what this is going to be is overflow. That's not too bad, because then I can come out this way, right? If I've got wall happening here, there's still plenty of room to come over here and see the creakings. Okay. Heck, even if I were to continue this like this, so it's straight. It's your hip and your side. Oh, ouch. But yeah, no, take care, snoopers. Take care of yourself. I will always suggest self-care before any sorts of other stuff like that. But yeah, I like this. So that would be there. I mean, I could dump a couple of other things, some decorations or stuff here against that wall if I wanted. But you starting to see how this room is starting to get shaped. Or, well, it's a room, right? It's a room with no walls. It's got a floor and most of a ceiling. But this is kind of what I'm looking at, and I'm down. The only other thing I would need is, yeah, if I were to come over here, because I do need an overflow, right? This would all get sorted, but I will need an area that's some sort of output that, hey, this didn't get sorted, right? Plus, I will need some space for stuff that just isn't getting sorted, right? Maybe it's tools, maybe it's something else, but something along those lines. In fact, if I were to come this way, I was half tempted, and you know me with my half temptations, to actually set up a thing that filters like non-stackable items, or just pulls or like sorts, oh, here's all the pickaxes, and here's all the shovels, and here's all the swords, and something like that, right? But on the other hand, just having the output show up over here, whether it goes all the way to this pillar or not, we'll see. But just this becomes the unsorted storage. Okay. Yeah, so if I have something that's I just don't have it in one of these slices somewhere, that might work out really well. Okay. Okay, I can live with that. And again, these are going to be up, 4 blocks high. Right. 4 chests. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this should give me plenty of room, right? Because this is all going to be bulk storage, so water will flow across all of those, and then across these, and then into or across this area for the copper golems. And once it hits over here, actually the water will stop. Well, mostly. The water stream won't be quite as much. So, okay. Just some transition from where the golems are doing things back, you know, for each module, basically. So the golems would put stuff into a thing here, which would come into a chest over here, and yeah, that might work. It might. We'll have to see. I might play around a little bit with the transition between these modules, but I do like the idea of using a water stream, at least in a couple of places, to get around some corners and to do some other things. But I don't know. We'll see how it comes out, right? How the whole thing shapes out when I build it, but it might be easier. Yeah, just water stream around the bulk storage. Yeah. Yeah, it might be easier. Just water stream around the bulk storage, and then into this first copper golem module, and then the copper golem. I'll have to play with how it's going to work, but gets its stuff from out of the last unsorted chest into the rest of whatever else is going on here. Okay. All right. I like it. I like it. I think it's going to be fun. And well, it is going to be big, right? It's going to take a long time. So, okay, I need wood, and then I'm going to need some basalt, and then I'm going to have to come over here, right? That's sort of big and annoying. But if I give myself, like speed beacons around the base, that might make this a lot easier to deal with, right? So I'm actually able to go fairly quickly around this place. That means we're going to be killing a lot of skeletons, but yeah, that's all right. We'll have to go hunting withers. Okay. But yeah, I could do the unloader here and just have that drop in. Boy, if I do it that way, it would be slow. Like if I don't do water streams, it's going to be a metric ton of hoppers. Okay. And inside all the bulk stuff, it's just going to take forever. But it's going to be hopper speed going into the storage anyway. So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I can let it be slow. Maybe it's going to be the slowest storage ever. But if I do it that way, take everything feeds into a couple of big chests for output into the shulker unloader. And then all of that pumps up into the rest of the sorting system to go around. That wouldn't be too bad. And I could then, if I wanted to, I still could put in a little furnace array back here. I mean, I've got one there, but if I wanted a little automated array, or actually this would be better. Once my storage is all moved over here, I could take the storage over on the other side and, right, so what I could do, this actually is sounding better. Just hang on, back up. Okay. Yes, I'm liking this idea. So here's what I'm thinking. I'll get all of my storage moved over there. When I do that, I'm going to have this big wall that I can take all of these chests out, right? And I could put a little furnace array here. I've got room right up here in the mountain. So I could set up the whole bamboo, fueling for the furnace array. Yeah, that would make some sense. That would be kind of cool. And that way I have a reason to come back in here. Aside from the fact I've got a couple, like my concrete makers right there, and I've got a little bone meal apparatus in there. That would make all sorts of sense. Okay, so yeah, that would be cool. So I can do the furnace array there. Now, there will be some space under this. There's going to be a basement. Okay, can you have a basement in a flying city? Sure you can. Right, so I've got, obviously this portal comes down below the level of this floor, okay? And I've already got some redstone and stuff down here for the creaking door. I am going to put a little bit of something underneath here, okay? I don't know what, but it's going to be something. Well, what I could do, I could put like sugarcane farms or something under here, right? And have the sugarcane come out, get pushed out of that farm, right, and loaded under there. Same thing, right? I could do some of those farms underneath here rather than up a couple of floors, right? I've got options, is what I'm trying to say here. I don't know what those options are all going to be, but I have them. Right? We're just gonna, yeah. So if I have another layer of redstone or something down here, I could grow some bamboo. I could, right? Because this is a big area, right? When you look at it from this perspective, right? There's a lot of space under there. Said I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but there's a lot of space under there. So we can make all sorts of fun stuff happen. All right, but I'm liking this. I like where this is going. Now the good news is, because, we need more good news in our lives. If I were to build this up, okay, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could actually set up, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I could actually set up and move all of my storage over here and just sort it manually until the copper golem shows up. And then the copper golem, once it's here, then I can do all the fun stuff that I need to do. The other thing I'm going to do is when I've got stuff coming into the storage system here, I'm going to try to pull a signal off the copper chests and activate the gas reactor, so that while the storage system is doing things, we'll get all of the fun laser action going on out here, which will be fun and exciting. All right. All right, I think this is going to work. Holy cow. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's going to require a heck of a lot of chests, unsurprisingly, but yeah, I can set all of this up. So this will be, ultimately the overflow and the unsorted items area. Okay. And then I'll have room. I can put in the elevators over here. I do like the idea of having windows that look out over the Badlands. All right. All right. This is going to be so good. All right. Hey, Omek, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day over there on Beam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, now I'll have to do some stuff here in the corners, and we'll do some other things to make sure this all works, but I think this is going to work out okay. It's going to be a little bit of a little bit crazy. 2, 3, 3. Nope. Nope, that's just wrong. Okay. All right, but all in all, I think this is going to be good. 2, 3, 4, 5. Where it's going to get really interesting is trying to figure out, as it always is how do I organize it? It's one thing if you're building a sorting system and it's like, oh yeah, everything just sorts and it's great. And it's just going to, hey, this slice is going to be this, that, or the other. Right? That's easy. But when you're doing them in categories, then it's a little bit tougher of like, okay, here's all of the items of birch, right? Okay, and then that's oak, right? You can separate the woods out fairly easily. I might have to dedicate just one slice for all of the 87,000 copper variants. That's going to be a little crazy, but okay. Of course. Yeah, I said I can take out all of these pillars. They're just, or at least some of those pillars. You know, they're part of the underside here of the gas reactor. And so there's some of it that I may want to shift around or do other things with, but for now, it's gonna be fine, right? I was just thinking about, right, because I've got these the set of chests here. That's the unsorted, right? This will be the overflow. It would be maybe kind of nice to bring that in this side, but I think it's okay. I mean, I could take this wall out. There's a number of things I can do, but right, because certainly this doesn't need to be here. Right, that could certainly be somewhere else. Or nowhere else, you know, who knows? Right, the only catch is to sort of break the pattern, but it's all right. Let's see, so this comes out this way. Yeah. Because I could put the chest here. The problem is the hoppers, and this column gets in the way. But again, that's not to say that has to be there. Right? That's just there because it was the bottom side of this pillar, right? Just comes under here. So I could take that out and rotate that and bring this over here for overflow. If I were to continue the pattern that I've got in here, I'd have a wall like that. Let's see. Here, let's just take this out for a minute. Okay. Okay. Something along those lines for 5 maybe, and then I could bring a wall down like that. That's a possibility. Kind of like that idea. And then here, let me go. Let's sleep for a minute. That's not a bad idea, actually. Okay. Okay, okay. So if we do it this way, and then obviously, well, these chests would come back here. let me see. I'd have to run another... Ooh, I don't want to get in the way of that, though. Alright, because the... Right, I've got the gas reactor here. So I don't want to... I don't want to put anything here in front of this glass, okay? I want that to be open. So if I'm coming in here with hoppers, right? If I put hoppers like this, that's going to be a mess. Though, I guess these don't have to be chests. And they don't have to be double chests. I could set them up. I could actually go completely floor to ceiling with these, and I could do barrels going all the way up. Right, so if they're only one block wide, I put the hoppers behind them. Right, so instead of chests, they're chests, but pretend they're barrels for a minute. Right, and then I could potentially... The problem is that's still... Right, if I wanted to hide these hoppers, I'm coming up here, which is still hitting this glass, and I don't want to do that. Okay, now I pushed it there because that's what I'm doing with each of these corners, which would be kind of convenient, right? It's so that I can place a block. I don't know what sort of block, but like I could put blocks here in the corners and do something sort of decorative, okay? I don't know what. Some form of decorative nonsense here at the corners I think would look good. Okay. So I do kind of want to do that. I can't put these here then if I'm going to do it that way. Well, cheese monkeys. Theoretically, I might be able to push all of this back one block. I mean, that's a possibility. On the other hand, I kind of like it where it's at. It's like I could move it, but I don't want to, you know. That's a thing. Okay. Yeah, because what I would want to be doing is I'd want to be pulling... Oops. Those are in the wrong place. Something back behind here. Okay. And obviously, if I've got a block directly behind the storage, I can't put a hopper there. Which is a little bit of a problem. Let's be real here. So, yeah. Okay. I mean, the other thing, I mean, let's play with this a little bit. Let's take these out for a moment. And let's see. So what I could do, so I still could have the overflow happening here, right? In fact, I could block that off. I could not even have this chest, for example. So I could, well, no, because I would still want to place something here, right? Okay. All right. I mean, like if I had something here, theoretically, I could take some pistons, right, and do a little really cheeky piston door right there, but sure, I like that. Do kind of like the idea of having something back here. It's just I just can't do it right. Because if I want to block all of this off, at least I don't want the hoppers to be visible, right? Which would, or, what if I did have the hoppers? Let's see. So I would have, let's try this. So if I had some chests or something here, okay? Let's take this out. Okay. So that's going to be a thing that happens, right? We're going to have all this stuff. It's going to be wonderful. Okay. Hoppers are sticking off the back here. Okay. And, you know, that might be, right, so we could do that. We'd have the hoppers, and then I could come in with trapdoors. And I could run trapdoors up. Yes, they would catch the edge of this a little bit, but it would definitely form a good solid wall. And if I were to do it with something that's solid, like spruce or dark oak, or even the pale oak trapdoors would look really good, I think. Let's go see if I have some dark oak. I don't know if the dark oak is going to be the way I'm going to go, but I certainly have enough spruce I can do it. My only complaint about the spruce is it looks a little bit more rustic than I would particularly like. And birch, I think, would just be the wrong color. Oh, I do have some. Here, let's make some trapdoors. Okay. That should be plenty for now. Okay. Woohoo! Okay. It is actually possible to get back up on the bridge if you fall. We're not going to worry about it. Okay. We're just not. It's fine. It's going to be perfectly fine. My only issue potentially with these trapdoors is that okay. The only issue I've got with them is that they might be a little bit too I don't know, something. They might blend into or contrast. So I've got this lovely brown terracotta for the ceiling. And the dark oak is just the wrong color. Right? I mean, you look at this, and that just doesn't... It doesn't blend well. And there's nothing I can do about it on this side because there's a glass block right there. It's like, I'm going to see that block. So, shoot, man. I mean, it's an idea, but... Let's just put these in. These are the wrong blocks. I think I'm pretty certain that the dark oak here is not the right block. Okay. But as far as the shape goes, right, it doesn't really interfere with the glass. So I can looking up into the reactor. That's going to be great. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'll need a different trapdoor here. But I think that's going to work. So I can do barrels along these walls. Right, this one is overflow. I could do barrels and stuff over here that's not overflow. That's instead, I don't know, something else. Okay. All right. That would be a thing. Okay, so take these guys out. Oh yeah, there's going to be plenty of room back here for snoopers to build hidden bases. It's going to be great. Okay. Yeah, so I could come over here, and then whatever's happening in this wall. So I will need space for, you know, crafting table, ender chest, right? Stuff like that. But that's definitely a possibility. And there isn't room here, obviously, because the reactor's in the way. So I can drop into the hoppers back behind here, fill this all up, and just let it flow down, flow down, flow down. It just said it's overflow. All right, so whatever's not sorted here in the rest of this storage will end up over here. Okay. I like that. So this ends up being some form of fun little control area, I suppose. All right. All right, that'll work. So I do need a different wood for this. Unfortunately, the type it can be is going to be somewhat limited. Right? Because as much as I would like it, you know what? Let's just leave those there for now. Okay. Okay, just so I've got the shape, but said it's the wrong color. And I don't know what the right color would be, right? I don't know if the right color is something. It's like pale oak. There's a lot of white here, so that pale oak could be, I don't know, it could pull out from the stripped stuff here too. Let's actually take a look. I've got some pale oak on me. Let's give this a shot and just let's just see what we get. I'm gonna need a crafting table. Fortunately, I have one right here. Okay. And yeah, somewhere here I'm going to have to figure out where all of my tools and stuff are going to go. Crafting tables and smithing tables and all of that stuff, right? All right, but... All right, so let's see now. Let's... Okay. Back. You're in the wrong place. Please move. Please move someplace else. Okay. You don't go there. Also, this is going to have to move. All right. Yeah, so I don't know where... Right, I'll definitely need a space here for a stone cutter and the crafting table and all of that stuff too, but... Is this okay? I mean, it might be. It very well might be. I mean, it's definitely, it looks better than the dark oak. I'm not sure that's saying much. Okay. On the other hand, I could put, well, can't put a painting here. Because this is it's on the wrong side of the block. But it's not a bad thing at all. And yeah, I said I could come back in here with barrels and stuff. So on that side, I could leave them chests too, so that the look is still the same, even though they'd only be just the single chest instead of the double chests, right? And that's fine. And then, though I do kind of like the idea of putting in the, I don't know if I like the pale oak, but I like the idea. This might be better using something like basalt, or maybe polished basalt, instead of the pale oak logs. All right, but I do like having something there. All right. Take that out. But I'm starting to get a feel for what this area is gonna be like, and I like it. But yeah, this is gonna be a lot of this, but